Hello, and welcome back to Life with Randy and Grace, living in full expression.
At least we're living.
Anyway, today we're talking about decluttering. And that is a topic for me that is like pretty far from what I want to think about for my home, but not for my mind. So we're going to talk about decluttering and how to do it and what happens if your mind is cluttered. How does that react to everything else? So how do you like that topic, honey?
Well, this topic's interesting because this is not, and she just said it wasn't one of her strong suits. Duh. It's not one of mine either. This is one we both struggle with. You know, I'm a very organized person and planning person. If you've listened to these podcasts, you know me by now, but I'm not a very good declutterer. Now, I'm not a hoarder, but compared to a friend of ours who's an ultimate declutter, I am nothing. So we looked up some tips, professional tips on how to declutter. And like Grace says, they say if you declutter your home, it also declutters your mind.
I think it goes the other way first, but okay.
Well, I think you got it. They say if you work on the home, it will also help declutter your mind. I'm not sure. For me, I'm better, like you said, better decluttering my mind than I am my home. But anyway, we'll see. But we looked up some of these from the experts, and when I read them, I go, I don't do that. So I want to preach to myself. I want to learn today as we go to these tips, see if I can do better, if I even want to do better. So we'll see as we go.
But I think referring to some of the things you just said, I think I come from a different place. In other words, where our professional friend talks about decluttering, I mean, she's a complete minimalist. But in my mind, it's not so much about the things, but it's about the things that I possess them, that they don't possess me. So for me, it's a mind frame thing. I can get rid of things because it's not about that I'm so attached that I have to have them.
Right.
But I think it's an important thing to recognize when we have things, cherish things, or own things, that they don't own us. So keeping a little bit of perspective there.
And you are, and I think probably a good quality, you hang on to things that have memories attached to memories, or like your mother gave you something, or that's special and important to you. So you don't get rid of that.
It is important to me. And for instance, we were on Bible study today, and we were talking about wisdom, and we were talking about humility, and we were talking about making good decisions. And this topic actually came up about holding on to things versus letting go of things. And there are lots of scriptures that talk about decluttering, both your life and your mind. But in Colossians chapter 3, verse 2, we are told very specifically not to focus on earthly things. And so what that reminded all of us is memories are good. I have Christmas cards that I have saved from the 1970s. That's a long time. But the one that my friend picked up off of my desk was one from my mom. And these days, people hardly send Christmas cards at all. So I do use old Christmas cards to decorate. And though the card itself is not important, the people that sent them and the messages they put in them are important to me. So they're there, and I don't care if my friend thinks I have too many.
Okay, let's get into the tips.
Oh,
so
okay. I thought that was a tip.
Oh, okay. On a lot of these things, the tips are kind of similar. For instance, this one: start off simple. Keep it simple. Keep it easy to get in the role of the mood or the role of things to then pick up the pace later. So, they say start with just taking 1 hour. 1 hour, one room, one dresser, and just spend an hour and see, if you can declutter what you don't need. And we'll go through a hierarchy of what you need and what you don't little bit later, but just take 1 hour and just try it and see how it feels. And then, they say, well, then from there you can go to they call it the rule of 5. The next phase is you go through until you pick 5 things. Try to find 5 things each day that you can declutter, throw out, donate, or whatever, and try to minimalize what you have. So the whole premise here is, and it works in a lot of things, even weightlifting for me, start easy so you don't kill yourself and quit. Keep it simple, start easy, and maybe that gets you in the flow.
Wow. I think that
You're speechless.
I think that one problem that you kind of are addressing is when you're looking at a project, whether it's decluttering or something else, and you're looking at this mountain of work that you have to do. That is overwhelming. So I think that your tip number 1 is, 1 hour. I would make it even smaller than that. Can you go, if clutter is an issue in your life or in your closet, can you go in and pick one thing? Just one thing. Don't overwhelm yourself. And I think that's what you were saying.
Eat the elephant one bite at a time.
Right, eat the elephant. Thank you. That was very good. He gets a point for that. I like that. One item at a time. And then, another good tip that our friend gave me is when we hold on to things because they're meaningful or we really love them. I mean, sometimes, like when we were moving from one of our homes, it was hard to give up certain furniture. But when I thought about the fact that these items that I had cherished for such a long time would be used and cherished by other families, that helped me a lot. So to your point of giving to Goodwill, sometimes it's nice to find a person or persons who would appreciate the things that you have so that you can pass them on. And it's very difficult because in our day and age, for instance, in my family, there are very few people who want a lot of the stuff that we have, but there are other people, there are friends who do love it. And so that makes it easy to give it up.
So, and kind of circling back for a minute, to me, it's a little bit like you're trying to teach me French when I'm not going to France. You have to have a motivation to declutter. It's kind of like which is first, the chicken or the egg, until you realize it's going to be helpful or it helps your mental state. Like me, I'm not really motivated too much to declutter. I don't see it as a problem, but I still want to try it. I know I can do a little bit and try to go to these tips and see what happens. And I may give it up after 1 hour or 5 days. It's not worth it. And we do go through our closets and try to declutter every now and then. So,
I think the word clutter is an issue because if there are things that I have that are getting in my way, that's clutter. But if I just have things that are all in its place, that's not clutter. It might be the same number of things, but if things are cluttered where there's just too much that I can't find one thing, then that's clutter. But if I have a lot of things and they're all in their own place, I don't see that as clutter. So
I'm glad to hear that because you don't see me as clutter. So if I preach decluttering, you may get rid of me.
That's correct.
So, I'm glad to know you don't see me as clutter.
No, I'm a
thing.
You're in your place.
Yeah, I'm a thing. Okay.
Don't listen to him.
They say the methodology to use, this makes sense, when you go to declutter, is do 3 things with whatever you come across. You realize you want to keep it, you realize you want to throw it out, or it's possible in good enough shape you realize you want to donate it. 2 out of the 3 are moving this stuff out, and only 1 is keeping. So that's kind of a methodology some people use, I think. You use that?
No.
Why not?
I don't use that. I either love it.
What's your 4th category?
I either love it or I don't love it. That's all. This is only one category.
So
do I love this thing? If I love it, I'm keeping it. I've already told this story in one of our. But sometimes if I love something and someone convinces me to give it away, 3 years later, I'm looking for the thing because I miss having that thing. No, I either love it for itself or for a memory it has, or I don't. If I don't, it can leave anytime it wants.
Okay, the next tip, I love this tip. This tip is great to me because it's not really in the category of just decluttering, it's in the category of memory, can't remember. Give everything a home. So I always try to put my keys in the same spot, my wallet in the same spot, things like that. If everything has a home, you don't really have to think about it. You know where it is. You don't misplace it, and you go get it. So
Well,
I like that.
yes, and that's what I said. Everything has its place. I believe that. Even my blouses are organized by color, my dresses, long sleeve or short sleeve, so I know where to go to find it. That's an excellent tip. Good job, Randy.
However, this tip doesn't work if you have a puppy. Because as we do, you give things a home and you find out that they've relocated. They've moved to another town and you have no idea where it is. So from earrings to shoes to whatever he can find.
To whatever he can
So
find.
if you have a puppy, it makes that a little hard.
It does. But I pick up after the puppy, and sometimes when he leaves his bones in certain places, I put them all in a home, in a safe place, so I know where to find them when he needs them.
We actually had a border collie that we'd have toys around the house. He would bring all of his toys into one spot in the living room and pile them all up, almost like he knew where they
Like
were.
he was holding court, and I would come home and I would find him sitting in the living room with all his toys around him. That's a border collie for you, little herder. But yes.
Okay, next tip. The experts say declutter by category, not by room. They say it's easier. So if you do, go pick your clothes as a category, books, linens, whatever, they say it's easier to declutter by category
Well, I
than
think
by room. And it makes sense because it's all, if you need one thing in a category, you might not need another thing in a category because the items are related, as opposed to a room, you can be all over the place. Make sense?
yes, and I think it's all part of eating the elephant. I mean, anything that helps you break it down into smaller units, that's a good thing. So by category, sure. I'll bite.
Okay.
Sounds good.
The next tip, clear hot spots every evening. And I think the theory behind this is if you just go around and maybe there's, a dish on the table and you put it in the dishwasher or something, you just take a little jump quickly in the evening and put things in their place. If you don't do that, the opposite happens, one thing at a time, and it tends to build up with the clutter or things out of place or whatever over time. If you don't just check every day that you've done a pretty good job of putting things back where they belong. What do you think of that one? You kind of do that. You kind of go through the kitchen on your way to bed a lot.
I do. Yes, I think clearing up those hot spots are important. I agree with that.
Excellent. Expect you to start being very fervent on this. Now, except where it comes to me. The one in, one out rule. We've heard of this before. We've tried this. We suck at this. If you buy a pair of shoes, throw an old pair out. If you buy a pair of jeans, throw an old pair out. You couldn't put, I don't think, one more thing in her closet. It's not that big, and things are so tight, you need a crowbar to pull the dresses apart. I don't think you follow that. I've even said, I'd love to buy you this, but I don't think you have room for it.
Yes, sometimes, yes.
What do you think of that?
Yeah, we've tried that, and it doesn't work.
It would work.
It would work.
But we don't do it.
But we don't do it.
Why don't we do it?
Because we like all of our things.
So we are clutters.
I'm not, I see, there's that word again. It's not clutter to me. I don't care. If I wear this sweater once every 2 years, I'm happy. I know it's there and I know where to find it. And I'll wear it once every 2 years, if that's the case. That's all.
Okay.
You're not getting much help from me on this declutter thing. especially around home. Now, if you want to talk about your mind, I can help you with that. I believe in that. But because, you were saying that decluttering the home helps your mind. I don't believe that. I think there are two types of people. I think there are the people on the gerbil wheel. What do you call that?
Hamster
The
wheel.
hamster wheel, whatever kind of wheel it
That
is.
would be me.
That would be you. Okay. There are the people on the hamster wheel.
Have to stop the wheel to go to sleep at night. Sometimes that's hard to do.
Yes, because there's too much on your mind and you're not paying attention. Philippians 4, verses 6 and 7. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation with prayer and thanksgiving, give it to God. Hello. And then the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, because you can't understand it. You shouldn't be at peace, but you are because you've given it up, will guard your heart and guard your mind. So,
I tried that last night and God didn't tell me anything.
Were you listening?
I don't know. I don't know.
Because that's the difference between the hamster wheel and the Ferris wheel.
Well, why don't you explain your Ferris wheel concept like you use? I'm kind of, in a way, I think it's good for your mind, but it's not good if you got to get a lot of stuff done. But describe it. It's very interesting.
I think I've said this on the podcast before too. I have a way of doing things, and he's always saying, I don't understand how your mind works. Well, my mind works like this.
Very true.
If you get on a Ferris wheel, right? You're in your little seat. So all of the items on my to-do list go into a box on the Ferris wheel. When that box gets to the top, I handle that particular thing. When it's done, it moves on, and then I handle the next thing that comes in the next box. So
your Ferris wheel goes in little notches. Tink, tink, tink. Take forever. Yes. Nobody wants to ride that Ferris wheel. It's way too slow.
Well, you wouldn't ride that. This is... You're being silly.
No, I'm just saying.
You're being very silly.
I get the analogy. The
point is, my mind goes, yes, piece by piece by piece, and yours is going.
Okay, you said a minute ago, you did a great segue, but then we talked so much I forgot what it was. But now we're going to talk about how to declutter the mind. So one of the tips from the experts, so-called experts again, is take a piece of paper and write down everything you can think of that you are worried about or overthink or trying to make a decision, or write it all down what's on your mind. And that in itself, you can kind of visualize it all. You see that it's finite and might help. But then they say, after that, day after day, pick 3 of them, at the most 3, maybe 1, that you're going to work on that day to try to improve the situation and make a decision. And get in that habit, and then you can focus better, and that should help you clear your mind. That's what they say. Do you think that works?
Well, I think that focus is an extremely important thing. Yes. I think that if we have focus about peace, and we have focus about understanding and discernment, that we won't get tied up or knotted up in issues about things that we should do. We have to, quote, be still and know that he is God. Sometimes we take on responsibilities that do not belong to us, quite honestly. And
out of our control. That is a great one. Don't worry about stuff you can't control.
Absolutely. So that's a big one. The point you were making about writing things down, that's important. Sometimes if you cannot get to sleep because so many things are on your mind, a good thing to do is to get up, write down everything that you're worried about so that you know you can handle it in the morning. And then you should be able to go to sleep. Say your prayers first.
Okay. I'm struggling a little bit with these tips on the mind. The next tip is it's helpful if you limit decision fatigue. And so how do you do that? Well, here's the tip. Develop routines. Have a consistent breakfast, time, maybe even what you eat. Like we said before, put your keys in the wallet in the same spot. Have a home for things. have a weekly meal rotation, and you can change it if you want, but if you don't have to think about it, so you know on Tuesday night you're having pizza. I mean, all these things to get things off your mind. Preset outfits. I could never do that,
Oh,
but some people could. They don't have to think about what to wear. When I get up in the morning, I don't normally want to wear. I think about what I want to wear. Every time I do it the night before, I change it. So that doesn't work for me.
no, but what I do,
Excuse me, but the point is fewer normal daily decisions, more calm in your mind. It makes sense logically. It's not something I want to do. I have too much fun changing my mind.
well, I think that it can make sense, depending on what are the things that make you nervous. I know that when I used to work, and I lived in Manhattan, and I had to be at work at a certain time, it did help to think about what I was going to wear the night before and have it laid out. These days, I don't have that much of a strict schedule, but one thing I do like to do, and that is there are certain outfits that I always wear together. So sometimes I will actually store a certain blouse with a certain vest with a certain skirt so that when I decide to wear it, it's all there. I don't have to go looking around for it. So it might not be the night before, but there are certain outfits that I know not only am I wearing this particular shirt with this particular pair of pants, but even certain jewelry that goes with that. So yes, planning ahead can certainly be helpful in that vein.
Yep. Now, the next one, I really have a problem with. They say, schedule worry time. So, say you're going to take a half hour, 15 minutes or a half hour, and then you're going to worry about all this stuff and make these decisions and try to schedule that same at a particular time every day. And that keeps you from worrying about it ahead of time. Again, it makes sense logically, but in life and in personalities, I couldn't do that one. I don't think I'd be very good at all at that.
No, I think it's ridiculous, quite honestly.
Yeah, right. So
That's
we
ridiculous.
We don't listen to all these tips, but we are throwing them out there. The next one, they said, in today's world, just about everybody is cluttered mentally with their phone and their emails and all the digital world. And that is one place, in my opinion, you have clutter. She'll have like 3,000 messages, emails on her phone.
No, I don't have 3,000.
2,000.
No, I don't.
1,000.
No, I don't.
Well,
I don't.
She's got a lot.
This is a thing that he's got in his head.
Well, when I
I
borrowed
have
your
about
phone, I saw the number.
300. You didn't see anything in thousands. It can move from 300, and then I go through and I just delete them all or hit delete 100. No, sorry, wrong.
So I overstated. 300 would be a nightmare for me.
Well, it's not a nightmare because a lot of them I just delete.
Yeah, but they're on your phone as active and you haven't done anything with them. Anyway, not to criticize you. I'm just saying, would that help you mentally to declutter your phone?
No. I'm not the one on the gerbil wheel. Hamster wheel.
Okay. Anyway, a lot of people have digital clutter. We won't even get to the problem of the young kids who are on their phone so much they don't even know how to talk to a person. That's a whole different deal, but I think their mind is cluttered with social media. Am I as good as I need to be? Did I have a good vacation at Susie? Blah, blah, blah. That's a whole different topic. And looks like Australia just passed some laws to slow that down, and maybe the U.S. will too. But again, different topic. The next one you should know about is it helps to declutter your mind if you move your body with exercise. What are you doing? Simple house chores, stretching, walking. It can help get rid of mental clutter by physical exercise. Do you agree with that?
Yes, I think that exercise is very important to a healthy mindset. Absolutely. Because you have to get rid of that excess energy. You can even use exercise time to think about things sometimes or to help you get to a decision on something. But definitely exercise and moving the body is very important because let me tell you something. When you have an issue that you are very focused on, these things actually get stuck in your body physically. In many cases, they've talked about the fact that fibromyalgia comes from unresolved issues. So it's a real problem. It's definitely a real problem when you don't move the body, because you need all of that energy to move through the body. The blood needs to move through the body. The stoppages need to get unstopped. So exercise, physical movement, extremely, extremely important.
Okay, and the last tip that we have is it's important to protect your mental white space. What does that mean? It means build in quiet moments like when you first wake up. Some people pray, some people meditate, take 5 or 10 minutes, wake up 5 or 10 minutes early and have quiet time without really thinking about too much. Say like you're going to lunch, you put your phone away at lunch, so you have 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever, of quiet time. Don't answer the phone, don't do emails. Or in a car ride, turn the radio off and just be silent for a while and kind of, let your mind go blank. Because the theory is your mind needs empty space just like your home does. Does that make sense to you?
Yes. I used to be in advertising, and there is a rule for creating a design for an ad, and that is that the white space is also important. So just like anything else, whether you're decorating a room, whether you're organizing your closet, whether you're decorating a home, whether you want peace in your own mind, you have to have one and only one at a time focal point. And when you have one focal point, then the rest of the things around it can fade out and disappear. And so just like in advertising, it's important because if you have too much going on at one time, you cannot focus on anything and no message becomes clear. So I think that's important. It's important for your physical health. It's important for your mental and emotional health. And that's why Scripture is telling us all the time, focus, be still, trust God. In Matthew chapter 6, Jesus tells us the whole thing all together about both mind and physical things. Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth where things can get destroyed or stolen, but store up for yourselves treasures in heaven where they can't be stolen and they can't be destroyed. So he's tying those two things together. Find peace, meditate, pray. First comes the kingdom of God, and then all of these other things will be added to you. So yes, focus. I think the most important thing that we could say from today is focus. Find a focal point. I don't care if it's in your closet or in your mind or in your work. Find that focal point. Do that first and let the other things fade into the background until you're ready for item number 2. Definitely meditate, be prayerful. And number 3, don't try and eat the elephant all at once. One piece at a time. Any questions? Oh, how do you downsize without feeling like you're erasing your history? Well, I think that one way to do that is to take pictures. Randy just did a beautiful gift for me. We love our pets. And so when a pet passes, you don't want to erase that history. So I would say if you have the time, take some photographs before you give the things away. And then you can put them into a little memory album or just keep them in a special file. So I would say photographs can be very important. And remember, it's the memory, not the thing. Go ahead, honey.
Excuse me, the Patels, Pensacola, Florida. My wife and I have different clutter tolerances. How do we meet in the middle? That's an excellent question. I think every couple probably has different clutter tolerances. I think the only way to meet in the middle is the husband, if they're a couple, the husband declutters what he has responsibility for, and the wife does the same. I know there's going to be middle ground and arguments, and you just got to work it out and communicate. And maybe, okay, the husband agrees to, I'll declutter this old chair I've never liked. If you'll get rid of this side table, it can be kind of fun, bargain and just communicate and talk about why you want it, you like it, you don't like it, if it's sentimental, what it means to you. And I think most of the time you'll be able to work it out.
Well, that's big things, but I think, he's asking about tolerances. In other words, how much stuff can you see, for instance, piled in the sink versus how much stuff can I see piled in the sink? And what I would say about that is if something bothers you, fix it. Don't wait for the other person to fix it.
Right, if it's okay with the other person. For instance, your closet bothers me, but it doesn't matter to me because I don't go in there, so it doesn't bother me. So that's your declutter
Well,
responsibility.
that's in personal space. But when you're talking about within a home and there's community space, I mean, you would
Yeah.
not be happy
Middle ground.
if there was too much stuff in the living room that didn't need to be there. So I think your first thing is key, communicate. And number two, I would say, like I've heard women say, he leaves his socks all over the floor, or, he doesn't pick up this. I would just say, pick it up. Just get out of the mindset that says he has to do it. It's his thing. If it bothers me, I'm going to fix it. So I would say two things: have personal space, and if something is really bothering you, definitely communicate about it. And if it's one of these, it's your job, not mine, just do the job. Don't get stuck in the weeds. Gloria. Hello, Gloria, from Little Rock, Arkansas. Is it true that decluttering your home helps your mental health?
Well,
Yes.
we just talked about that.
Yeah, it does. Especially if even if it doesn't get on your mind. There are people who definitely hoard things who I guess say that it doesn't bother them. I don't understand how that could not bother them. If I'm stepping over boxes to get to something, that would definitely bother me. But the answer to your question is yes. Anyway.
Before we go, I would just like to say if there's an issue out there or things that you're thinking about trying to make a decision, or you don't know how to handle a certain situation, let us know what it is, and we'll try to put it on a podcast. We'll do some research and look into it. And if you're wondering about it or would like some tips on a certain area, other people would too. So let us know what that is, and we will start doing our future podcasts to try to react to some of those issues that the people who are watching want to hear about.
That is great. And also, sometimes there are great books. I can't remember the name of it now, but there was this woman who decided she was getting rid of everything, and she only kept like 7 items of each thing that she had. And it's a fabulous, fabulous book. I'll try and remember and send it to you, text it out there next time. It's a great book. It's a great read for decluttering and the challenges it presents. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you'll come back and join us for another LIFE, Living in Full Expression. See you then.
Bye-bye.